Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about the pressure relief valve on this boiler and the temperature pressure relief valve on this water heater. They are very similar but they have some differences. We're going to replace both of them. We're going to talk about some safety issues. I'm going to take you step by step, so don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. So let's talk about this boiler first. This boiler is for 300,000 BTUs and it's for 6 apartments. And the boiler, what it does is this one is leaking, so we're gonna replace it in a few minutes. But this boiler has some burners at the bottom and it's gonna warm up some water and then it's gonna circulate it through the whole building. And while it passes through pipes, it's gonna give out some heat. So the typical working pressure of these boilers are 12 pounds or a little bit more. If you have 2-3 floors, the pressure is going to be a little bit bigger than 12. It could be 15, 18 or whatever, but that's another subject. And so if for any reason, if the feeding valve doesn't work and it allows more water, more than 12, and it keeps building the pressure, this valve is going to open when it reaches 30 pounds of pressure, and it's going to protect the pipes, it's going to protect the boiler and the whole system, because pressure hurts the whole system. This is not like a water heater. It's not going to open on temperature like a water heater, and we're going to talk about that. Since this valve is only for pressure, the boiler has other safety devices like the low limit and the high limit and other sensors to open up and kill the power to the unit. So this is a tag for this boiler. The model number is M3 and the size is 3/4 and it's set to 30 pounds of pressure. This boiler is 300,000 BTUs, so the rating for your valve should be bigger than the actual ratings of the boiler. Otherwise, you wouldn't be protecting it. So now let's talk about the water heater. The water heater is a device that heats the water in your house and your apartment. And when you turn the faucet on in the bathroom, hot water would come out, and then you mix it with cold, and then you take showers. So a safety setting, temperature wise, for water heaters is 120 degrees. More than that, it would burn you, and it's dangerous for kids and for older people. Restaurants and factories are set different for more. It allows more temperature, but residential is 120 degrees. And this device, the safety temperature pressure relief valve, is going to protect you. If the temperature reaches 210 degrees, is going to open to protect you. And the pressure is different. The working pressure of the water heater is whatever the city it supplies to your house. So it could be 60, it could be 50. After 70, 80, that's too much pressure. So you should install a reducer, but that's another video. And but if this water heater reaches 150 pounds of pressure, then it's gonna open. It's gonna open to relieve the pressure, to relieve the temperature, the water. And if it didn't have that, it's very dangerous, because the tank could explode and kill you and destroy your house, destroy your building. So very important to have this device in your water heater. Let's take a look at this tag. The regular PSI on a water heater should be between 40 and 60, 70. If it reaches 150 PSI, it's going to open, it's going to relieve the pressure. Temperature wise, regular temperature of a domestic water heater is between 120 and 140. Remember, it's supposed to be 120 so you don't get burned. but this one is going to open when the water heater reaches 210 degrees to protect you. It's going to relieve the pressure so it doesn't explode. And this one is rated at 105,000 BTUs. Usually a 40-gallon water heater, the typical BTUs is about 40,000 BTUs. So the rating of the valve should be greater than the actual water heater. Let's talk about safety. This downpipe, the discharge pipe, is wrong. It's supposed to be longer. It's supposed to be within 6 inches from the floor and the end of the pipe. So this should be longer. That's so if it's activated while you are around, it doesn't burn you, doesn't burn your eyes or your face or whatever. So that's why it has to be that low. This pipe has threads. You have to remove them and you have to cut the threads so nobody puts a plug or a hose. If you put a plug, it's going to explode on you because you never know when it's building the pressure. And if you put a hose, you never know when it's leaking because the water is going to the drain. According to the boiler inspectors, we're supposed to exercise this valve once a year. So all you have to do is to pull on that handle. Just go 90 degrees and then water is gonna puke at the bottom, just like that. And then just for 1 or 2 seconds. And water is gonna come from the bottom. So I'm gonna do it again so you see it. So I'm gonna do it right now. And you see the water, and then just turn it back. So you're supposed to exercise this valve at least once a year. Once you open it, once you exercise the valve, you expect some leaking for a couple minutes, but then after 2 to 5 minutes, it should stop. This valve in this boiler is constantly leaking. So I tried to reset it a few times. Sometimes there's debris in the diaphragm. Inside there's a spring and a diaphragm that when it reaches the temperature, it's gonna open. It's spring loaded. So watch, I wanna pull it and see all that water. Of course, you have to be careful. That's scorching hot water. This one is 180 degrees because it's a boiler. Can you see the pressure reaches 178 degrees? And then after you exercise the valve, just make sure tap it lightly just so it sits properly. But this one is beyond tapping because now it's been leaking for 2 days. So now we're gonna replace it. And now we're going to replace this valve in this water heater. Remember, you have to get the right safety relief valve. We're going to turn the water off. We're going to turn this valve in the pilot position and this dial to the vacation mode. That's so it doesn't turn on when we're replacing the safety relief valve. And now what we could do, it's relieve some pressure. You go to your kitchen sink or your bathroom sink and you're gonna relieve some pressure from the hot water. And then it's gonna faint until it goes like that, so you just relieve the pressure. And also we're gonna relieve some pressure here and it's gonna puke, it's gonna spit from there. And that's gonna be okay too. So it's not going to be that much water. When it stops draining like that, now we're gonna remove this pipe, the drain pipe. Now we're gonna remove it. I'm using channel locks because my pipe wrench doesn't fit there. And now we're going to remove the temperature pressure relief valve. and it should be fairly easy. You can drain some of the water here to relieve the pressure. Just like that. But if you don't want to empty the whole system, you can do it, since we relieve the pressure already, turning the faucet on, and we just relieve some pressure here. Now we're gonna remove this. We're gonna remove this one. It's still under pressure, a little bit of pressure, so you can either wait until you drain more from there, or you just do it, remove it, and get the new one ready with Teflon paste and tape. So we're gonna remove it and get the new one, and then just put it inside again, and you're gonna avoid a lot of water from draining. There, that's about right. We're gonna turn the water on. We're gonna turn the gas off if you turn it off, or that's on. Now don't forget to light the pilot. So we're gonna put it from vacation to hot. And then we're gonna turn the pilot on. And then we're gonna turn the pilot on. So press the pilot button and then the spark at the same time. And then keep it pressed for 30 seconds or so. Keep it pressed for 30 seconds to a minute. And then we're gonna turn the knob to on. Do you hear that? So we're gonna replace this one. On this boiler, we're gonna turn the boiler off. Now remember, there's pressure in this tank. Even though the pressure in this tank is 12 to 18, that's not too much. But we're gonna relieve the pressure by activating your valve. So look at that, it's spitting some water. So we're gonna leave it on until no water is coming out. We're gonna shut all the main supplies. Since we have all the water pressure to the upper apartments, we're gonna shut the water off to each apartment, because when you open the system, the water wants to go down to where you open the system. So we're gonna turn off all 4 apartments so we don't lose the water from each apartment. So when I turn this on, when I open up like that, there's not much water pressure. What's up?
Hey, so it's a bad leak, huh? Not a good leak.
No good leaks.
No good leak? Okay, I'm like, why is it dripping water?
So now we're going to replace it. We're going to start from the opposite end of the valve. So we're going to start with the down pipe. Remember, when you have 2 pipes, you have to protect this one, so the bigger wrench goes on the 90 degree, and then the smaller wrench goes in the pipe that is going to be removed. So we're gonna go like that to remove. Now, since we're gonna remove the elbow, we have to protect these. So the bigger pipe goes on this pipe. Well, at this point, we can remove both pieces. So I'm just gonna remove it from here. So now I'm gonna remove the elbow and this stub at the same time. I don't have to undo it because we're gonna reduce it. So it's pretty easy. So now to remove the valve, we have to protect this pipe, and then with a smaller wrench, look at that. At this point, we don't supposed to have any pressure, or at least not that much, but just be careful. And don't take it all the way out, just lift it a little bit. But if it had any pressure, it would come out of that, out of the seam, out of the pipe here. So I think we're good. I don't know if you see, but it's a little bit rusted inside. We're gonna apply Teflon tape, and you have to apply the tape and the paste clockwise. And then before you put the new one, remember you have to make sure it has the same specifications as the other one. So now we're gonna thread it. We don't have that much pressure, but we have to have at least 12 pounds of pressure. And it seems like we have 12 pounds of pressure, so we're gonna turn the system on. At this point, the air that came into the system, the air scooper is supposed to remove it, but we don't have one here. Don't forget to turn everything you turn off, otherwise they'll call you in the middle of the night that they don't have heat. Now we're gonna turn it on. It's gonna go through safeties and then it's gonna turn on. So now you know a lot about TP relief valves. So just be safe. Do whatever you're supposed to do. So don't forget to press that button. Please like this video if it was useful to you, and see you next video. Thank you so much. Have a great day.